Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to knit a boot cuff. I also have free written pattern. It's available on my blog. I will put the link in description below. You can check it out. For this project, I'm using butter and cream, Lux Craft, alpaca solid. And this is 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca. And the size, super bulky number 6 yarn. I don't use the whole skein for this project. I just use about 50 yards. And the knitting needle size, US 15, 10 millimeters. I use circular needle because I don't have straight needle. So any kind of needle will work. Straight needle, double pointed needle, or circular needle. We will work in flat and we join it together. And you also need cable needle, but if you don't have cable needle, you can use any needle that you have. Double pointed needle, like extra needle, even crochet hook. And scissors and yarn needle. I already knit one piece but haven't sewed it together yet because I want to show you guys. Okay, so this is 8 rows repeat. Okay, like 1 to 8, 1 to 8 till you have your desired length, and then we're gonna sew it, fold it in half and then sew it. Okay, like I said, I have free written pattern. You can check it out on my blog. I will put the link in description below. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna make long tail cast on. So I make sure I have enough tail to make a long tail cast on. You can use any kind of cast on you like. So I make slip knot and insert my needle into that loop. So the loop in my needle right now is count as 1 stitch, and we're gonna cast on 16 stitches. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you don't know how to make a long tail cast on and you want to make a long tail cast on for this project, I also have video tutorial for that, and I will put the link in description below. Okay. Okay, now I have 16 stitches cast on, and then I'm gonna turn. So row 1 gonna be the wrong side. Okay. So row 1 we're gonna knit first 2 stitches. So insert my needle and knit this 1 and 2, and then purl next 6 stitches. So when you're purling, yarn in the front like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're gonna knit the last 8 stitches. So when you knit, yarn in the back, and then just knit all the stitches there, which is the 8 stitches. Okay, and now we're gonna turn, and row 2 gonna be the right size. Okay, so row 2 we're gonna knit all stitches. Oops. Just knit Okay, so keep knitting into each stitch till you come to the end of row 2, and I will meet you guys there. Okay, now I have 2 rows. That's what it looks like, and then I'm gonna turn. For row 3, we're gonna repeat row 1. Okay, so we're gonna knit the first 2 stitches. Oops, just 1, oops, and 2, and then purl next 6 stitches. So yarn in the front, okay, when you're purling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're gonna knit the last 8 stitches. Oops, sorry. It's pretty easy, that's why I go pretty fast. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn, and row 4, we're gonna repeat row 2, which is knit all stitches. Pretty easy, right? Okay, just keep knitting. I will miss you guys when you come to the end of row 4. Okay, now we have 4 rows, and we're gonna turn, and row 5, we're gonna repeat row 1. Knit the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then purl next 6 stitches. So yarn in the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then knit the last 8 stitches. So like I said, it's pretty easy, so we just repeat the same thing. That's why I knit pretty fast. Okay, and then I turn. Row 6, we're gonna repeat row 2, which is knit all stitches. Okay, and I will meet you guys when you come to the end of row 6. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn, and row 7, we're gonna repeat row 1. So knit the first 2 stitches. Okay, and then purl next 6 stitches. So yarn in the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then knit the last 8 stitches. Okay, and then I turn. So now row 8 is gonna be the cable rows. Okay, so bring your extra needle or cable needle, whatever needle you have, and we're gonna knit 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now I'm gonna bring my cable needle, and then I'm gonna slip 3 stitches from the left knitting needle into my cable needle pairwise. So 1, 2, and 3. And hold on the front of your work, and then we're gonna knit next 3 stitches on the left knitting needle. One, 2, and 3. And then we're gonna knit the 3 stitches that we slip into cable needle. You can knit in there, or you can return all 3 stitches back into the left knitting needle. So this time I'm gonna return it into the left knitting needle so you guys can see easier. And then I'm gonna knit those 3 stitches. And then knit the last 2 stitches. Actually, we knit all after we transfer. Okay, that's what it looks like. See, like I said, this pattern is 8 row repeat. So the row 8 is the cable rows. It start to twist like that. Okay, you don't see that much yet. It's just that. Okay, now we're gonna repeat row 1 to row 8 again. It's just like 1 to 8, 1 to 8, and 1 to 8. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn. So row 9, we're gonna repeat row 1. You see? We just knit the first 2 stitches and then purl next 6 stitches. Yarn in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then knit the last 8 stitches. Okay, that's what it looks like. And now row 10, you're gonna repeat row 2, row 11, you repeat row 1, row 12, you repeat row 2, row 13, repeat row 1, row 14, repeat row 2, row 15, repeat row 1, and then row 16, we're gonna repeat row 8, which is the cable row, but I'm gonna show you guys again on row 16. Now I have 15 rows, and row 16 we will repeat row 8, which is the cable row. We're gonna do exactly the same, but I just wanna show you guys again. Okay, so we're gonna knit 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then do the same, bring your extra needle, whatever needle you have, and then slip 3 stitches from the left knitting needle into cable needle pairwise. 1, 2, and 3. And hold it in the front, and then knit the next 3 stitches on the left knitting needle. 1, 2, and 3. So like I said, after that we're gonna knit 3 stitches off from the cable needle, and you also can transfer back to the left knitting needle I already show you that way. So this time I'm gonna show you how to knit those 3 stitches off from a cable needle. Okay, so I just leave the left knitting needle like that, and then I'm gonna knit 3 stitches off of cable needle. So I'm gonna knit 1, 2, and 3. See, pretty easy, right? And then I'm gonna knit last 2 stitches on the knitting needle. Okay. See, that's what it looks like. We do exactly the same. Okay. So now I have 2 repeat. 1 to 8 and then 1 to 8. So you need to do that, repeat that 2 more times, 2 more repeat, which is 1 to 8 and then 1 to 8 again. Okay, you will have total of 32 rows. And then we will bind off at row 33. And I will meet you guys back in when I come to the end of row 32. Okay? Now I have 32 rows. That's what it looks like. I hope you have the same. And then we're gonna bind off at row 33. So I turn my work. The row 33 is the wrong side, and we're gonna bind off. So usually this row we repeat row 1, right, which is knit first 2 stitches and then purl 6 stitches and then knit 8 stitches. So we're gonna do 2 knitting bind off, 6 purling bind off, and then 8 knitting bind off. So I will show you guys how to do that. So I'm gonna knit the first stitch and then knit the second stitch and then pass the first stitch over the second stitch. So use the left needle, go in to the first stitch there and pass it over the second stitch. Okay, make sure you not bind off too tight. And then we're gonna purl next 6 stitches. Next stitch first. So I purl and then bring the first stitch over the second stitch. Okay, and then purl next stitch and then pass the first stitch over the second stitch and then purl next stitch and pass the first stitch over the second stitch and then purl next stitch and do the same, pass the first stitch over the second stitch and then purl next stitch, pass the first stitch over the second stitch. Let's see, one more purling. Okay, so purl and then pass the first stitch over the second stitch. Now when you have 8 stitches left on your left knitting needle, we gonna knit stitch bind off, knitting bind off. Okay, so it's just gonna knit and then pass the first stitch over the second stitch, and we're just gonna repeat that. Okay, and then we're just gonna cut the yarn. I leave the tail about 12 inches and then cut and pull out like so. And next, before we sewing, I just gonna show you what's look like. So this is the wrong side, and then this the right side. Very beautiful. We're gonna fold it in half and then we're gonna sew into the wrong side. You can use any method you like. I'm gonna bring my yarn needle. And we're gonna start sewing from the bottom here. So the yarn come from the back and then I'm just gonna insert into the front panel like so. You just keep watching video or like I said, you can use any method you like. So I go that one more time because I want the edge is beautiful. So okay, that's good. And then I'm gonna move on to next stitch. And then go into the next stitch like so. And then insert into next stitch and then insert into the next stitch. Make sure you're not sew too tight. Okay, you just keep sewing this till you come to the end and I will meet you guys there. I have one stitch left. I just gonna go ahead and sew it. The last stitch there. Do that one more time. Okay. And then I just gonna try to hide my tail. I'm gonna tie a knot first. And then hide my tail. Make sure it's secure and then gonna trim the tail. And this end that when we start, you're gonna hide that tail as well and then make sure it's secure and then trim the tail. Okay, I'm gonna turn the right side out just to show you guys. Very beautiful. See, this is where we just sew. Look very good, right? And you need to make 2 of these exactly the same. Okay? So I already have my first one here, so yeah. I hope you enjoy making this project. If you do, don't forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And I would love to see your bootcup. Please tag me on Instagram or Facebook. Okay? So see, I still have a lot of yarn left. Alright, thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye bye!